Hello, this is Alex Nee, recording my T8 spinal cord injury from September 14th, 2021. It's been, I think, 13 days so far since my injury, and things has, happened in their own way since then. And, I was riding the roller coaster of the entire situation all the way through. I wasn't able to completely manage my emotions and the inner world as much as what I hoped, what Sakuru um, inspires to do. But overall, I think I'm quite okay. I accept my current limitations. I accept my current conditions. I accept that this is going to be a long recovery road, and I also accept that um, we don't know what the end result is going to be, and that actually is the exciting part. If we already know if we already know the ending, what's the point of going through the process, right? So those things are are that I'm in peace with, and I'm also making all these vlogs, talking over my phone, and just to record of my daily process, blah blah blah. But I haven't been able to share with my close friends of what really happened that led me to this paralysis. I told them the cover story, which is that I went to the gym, did a lot of squatting, that deadlift with really strong, really strong pre-workout, and went out with friends. When we played twisters, and I hurt my back, and I thought it was just a simple strain. It turned out to be much worse as I was walking home. But obviously, I know that this is not what really happened. What really happened was that I was using crystal meth with two other guys, and it was such an intense sex session, that my back was broken. As unlikely and insane this sounds, and it is a rare possibility that led into my labs or my back. But I wasn't able to share it with this because of the drugs involved, and then that in general, that sometimes we hide away certain things from our loved ones because we're afraid that they're gonna judge us. So last night, I told all my friends. I shared my entire journey of vlogs with them, and it was pretty shocking experience for all of them, to say the least. But they all have strong love, support, and acceptance for me, and I was so grateful just to receive all their support, and it was just brought me into tears so much. And I'm so happy that they are so accepting and understanding, and I cannot have any better friends. But the reason I did it is not because I'm looking for attention or acceptance or things like that in my desperate times. I'm mainly doing it because of the fear that held me back to share this with my close friends. I'm afraid that they're gonna judge me. I'm afraid that they're gonna refuse me. I'm afraid that they're going to discriminate me. And so I just, hide it from them. But part of me really just wanted to stand out into the spotlight and just to say that shit happened to me. It happened. It's such an unlikely bullshit of an event that happened to me that is just so outlandish. I mean, the possibility of like using meth to be overdosed is so much more likely than breaking your T8 spine, which is like a very stable and strong part of the spine area. So, but it did happen. And, part of me is so shameful that I cannot share this to my friends, which is understandable, but I don't want to be held back from the fear that um, my close and loved ones will judge me, refuse me, and discriminate me, so that I would just not tell them the truth. I wanted to get, step out of that fear. Just there's just one little step. That it's okay if they don't accept me. It's okay if that is the case, because we're all different. We're all living different lives. We all live in our own realities. We all have different understandings and experiences of life. So it's only natural that you don't understand some other people's experiences. But I myself do not want to be held back from this fear. So I told them what happened, and I'm so grateful that they're so understanding. It's a big major step for me, and to say the least. I think the longer goal, obviously, is just to, tell. I don't think I'm ready to share with my family because that's just too much work. I'm not ready to face that yet. But, you know, I, the longer term, obviously, is to accept myself, however condition that I am in, however situation that I'm in, however recovery or, situ- however condition that I will end up in. But for now, what I can do, just at least at yesterday, was to work out of that fear of my close ones will not be able to accept me, and it's huge for me. I'm so proud of myself. I really am. And after I did this, like some of my muscle pains just went away, and like all this, tension, maybe not on my back, on my neck yet, but like I have such huge tension on my TMC, my jaw area. Like yesterday, it just cracked open a little bit. Normally, when I do something that's like consistent with what my inner being, my soul wanted to, generally those two chewing muscles they relax a little. It's a good sign for me. I know it's weird, but I feel like your emotional state, your wherever it is, you're if you're in a state of fear, state of happiness, state of joy, state of despair, regret, it all have chemical and physical manifestations in your physical body, and so it's only natural that some tension that you have emotionally and mentally will reflect on your own body. And by just doing that a little bit, I may have just released a slight dent of attention. So I'm really happy for this huge accomplishment. So that is a big event for me yesterday. Also, my rehab is set in stone, and I'm going to be transferred there tomorrow. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So looking forward to that. New facility, new scenery, new people. Um, it's a long road to recovery, but I'm really looking forward. Ah, yes, I remember. One thing I wanted to share is that before this terrible situation happened to me, I was always, I always felt like pretty alone, almost like lonely, because I was sort of like, living in my own bubble, my own comfort zone of, school, walking around, some close friends, and movies and marijuana and Netflix, stuff like that, right? So like my life was not very, but my life was quite narrow. It's very narrow. It's very limited, like the limitation that I have right now. But since everything had happened, I've been talking to so many people on a daily basis, talking to, doctors, nurses, doctor assistants, nursing assistants, surgeons, and then, physical therapies, also occupational therapies, and all those kind of like different hierarchies of the hospital that help and support my journey along the way. That in such a short time, 2 weeks of my stay. Yeah, really 2 weeks now, because it happened on Tuesday and now it's Monday. So in the 2 weeks of my stay, that I feel like, I have gone through so many, meeting so many people, talking to so many people, changing so many different rooms and so many different experiences, and that my previous sort of like a narrow way of life has just expanded a little bit, um, because all the human interactions, all the communications that happening, and just in general, like facing people and dealing, talking to them about what my needs are, and then what the system is like and how to navigate through all this blah blah blah. But I think what I'm really trying to address is that I used to have pretty frequent social anxiety issues. Like when I meet some people, I just feel like I'm anxious. I have to have some alcohol to calm me down. Otherwise, like I just like cannot really be relaxed and talkative and chatty. But that's gone. I think my social anxiety is healed. With my spinal cord injury, my social anxiety is healed. How fucked up is this? I mean, like, you just call a fucking therapist, right? You don't need to be paralyzed at home in hospital to cure your social anxiety issues. But no, like I think like connecting with people, talking to people, is something that I really enjoy, and I really avoided doing those things before, and and if I were to ask why, it would be because I'm afraid to do so. I'm afraid that the other people is going to, not like me, and discriminate, and or stuff like that, and I feel like I'm a little bit like socially awkward. I'm not like opened up as I can be, and cause like when I first meet someone, and if I'm first if I meet a person on the first or second time, comparing to knowing them much longer, is hugely different. But which is okay. But then what I'm trying to say is that the anxiety that I feel when I meet new people or even like close friends, is pretty persistent. So I always need to have like something in my hands to play with, like a little eraser, a little piece of tissue, or like a strip from the water bottle cap. And I could just like break them into tiny little pieces while talking to them. I would make like a little mess, and that's like calms me down. It relaxes me. So yeah, this is like a pretty consistent and observable social anxiety manifestation that I have. If you know my friends, you like they will definitely come from them. So now I'm much better. I'm not saying that I'm good. I'm much better, but it's a little bit of a different setting because the nurses, doctors, they want to bring as much care and bring as much love and as much understanding to me as much as possible. But it's a good way to bridge me out into a reality and into just um into what I will face later. But more importantly, like just I find myself loving connecting with people, just talking to them about their day, their lives, and how things are, and then it's I love it. I didn't know that I did. I always refuse myself from doing that. I was always afraid. I was always anxious. So I'm not trying to like put a silver lining to everything that happens, but there is a silver line, and if you look carefully enough, there's always one, and it just may take some time to manifest itself, and it may take some attention to observe it. So but whatever happens, whatever bad or good or that comes out, or different facets of the same event, it really depends on how we define things. The way I define my current situation is unknown. It's a big question mark. It's up to me, it's up to my body, it's my spirit to achieve whatever outcomes that is potentially possible. So that I think so far is how I want to define my situation, and we'll see, because we never know. This is the trick of life. You thought you knew something, and something else comes up. And just look at me. So that's all for today. Bye bye.